Majors denies any wrongdoing. It remains unclear how this case will impact or could impact the 33-year-old's career. He recently appeared in Creed 3 and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Since the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we have seen what Kang the Conqueror and Jonathan Majors is truly capable of, bringing to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He put on an extraordinary performance and really set up the next phase of the MCU. We have seen him and Paul Rudd being fairly close friends, performing together and being in the same film as enemies. Today we wanted to discuss the incident pertaining to March 25th of this year.
Actor Jonathan Majors is expected to appear virtually in court today. He faces charges of assault and harassment following an alleged domestic dispute back in March.
But before we get into it, some trivia for you. At what age did Jonathan Majors discover his love for acting? Leave your best guesses in the comments down below and stick around to the end of the video to find out if your answer was correct.
The DA introduced new details in the complaint, which the actor's attorney alleged was part of a witch hunt against Majors. The Marvel star was arrested on March 25th after a 30-year-old woman alleged that she had been assaulted by the actor and had sustained minor injuries to her head and neck.
According to some sources and the press, Majors was arrested on March 25th of this year, just a little over a month after the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, on assault and harassment charges to which the victim gave a statement and has since recovered. Charges were filed on him and he has since went to court, which we will get into a little bit later. But for the purpose of this video, we wanted to focus on the supposed punishments he is facing.
𝘧𝘠𝘅𝘐𝑢𝘆𝑑𝘰, Majors' criminal defense lawyer, has denied any wrongdoing on behalf of her client and has previously provided video and text evidence to prove his innocence. Since the alleged incident, a judge granted a full temporary order of protection for the woman involved in the case.
On top of his stance in Marvel, because he was in the US Army, they too have stepped in and pulled commercials of him as of now, releasing a statement saying, "While Mr. Majors is innocent until proven guilty, prudence dictates that we pull our ads until the investigation into these allegations is complete."
Majors was told by the DA that he must continue to abide by the full stay-away order for protection, which includes no contact with the woman who accuses him of harassment and assault.
"I will take my revenge on those who banished me,
and I will burn them out of time."
We first saw a glimpse of Jonathan Majors' character in the Marvel series Loki.
This is wild. The two of you, same person, I mean...
And of course we saw the whole thing of his character and what he can do in terms of destruction in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I want you to remember, you could have gone home.
Many critics and fans were fond of his character, saying he played it well, but now comes the tough part as he is facing more serious consequences, such as a year behind bars.
New complaint language from the DA indicates the woman also alleged injury to the right arm, claiming to be pushed into a car by Majors. The complaint no longer indicates reports of bruising and injury to the neck.
But real quick, make sure you guys check out our Instagram page, linked down in the description. There's a ton of interview moments and memes, so make sure you check it out and give us a follow. And aside from all the different stories of where the alleged injuries had taken place on the victim and Majors fighting for his innocence, claiming that this person is lying, I want to turn your attention to Marvel's reactions to all of this. According to a few articles and sources, apparently they aren't really doing anything about this.
𝘧𝘢𝘅𝘐𝑢𝘆𝑑𝘰 claims that the woman is lying and notes that the defense team has additional video to back up that claim.
They are in talks about currently replacing Marvel's new villain, so if all goes well, everything should run smoothly and as planned with the current lineup of the films he is set to appear in. Of course, that isn't all in the clear yet, as he is still facing jail time. That could very well be possible.
This is a witch hunt against Jonathan Majors, driven by baseless claims. Instead of dismissing the allegations in the face of the woman's clear lies, the DA has adjusted the charges to match the woman's new lies. To be clear, there are no new charges against Mr. Majors.
If this were the case, fans have already come out and mentioned someone who could potentially replace Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, which would be 𝘧𝘠𝘅𝘠𝘠𝘠, who stars in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and fans are loving the idea. Again, there's been no indication from Disney that they're considering cutting Majors loose just yet, despite the fact that he's been dropped from the other projects and organizations.
Bernard, Variety reports that multiple women have since come forward with abuse allegations against Majors and that they're cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney. So could we see this case grow or see this turn into multiple cases against him?
Yes, it's quite possible. It all depends whether those victims, those complainants, when did those alleged actions take place.
Of course, Major's attorney stands by his side and suspects the woman who is accusing him of these injuries that she has sustained. Her attorney apparently believes that this is a, quote, witch hunt against Majors, according to her.
Since Major was charged in March, his attorney has said he's innocent. But now new court documents filed by his defense aim to put the accuser's credibility into question, saying this is an attempt to destroy his reputation, all because he broke up with her.
According to Marvel's Phase 5 lineup, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania started Phase 5 and of course introduced King the Conqueror as a whole character, and Marvel went ahead and released the film as scheduled while seeming to hush all the controversy at the time just to keep the premiere running smoothly. And he's still appearing at the premiere as well as interviews.
New documents obtained by NBC News give a glimpse into actor Jonathan Majors' defense amid his legal battle.
Good to see you again.
The Creed 3 star is charged with harassment and assault for an alleged domestic dispute with a 30-year-old woman in New York City in late March. In a letter to the court, his defense citing irrefutable evidence that Majors is innocent.
Starting off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Majors secured the role as King in 2020, but was signing on to more than just one project. As the timeline-traveling comic book warlord King the Conqueror, the Lovecraft Country actor would be the cornerstone of the entire next phase of movies and TV shows set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Police say they responded to a 911 call. Upon arrival, they say the victim accused Majors of assault, and investigators verified the claims. But Majors' defense disputes those claims. Court documents filed by his defense say that night the woman assaulted Majors in a car and then went to a nightclub without him, submitting screenshots they say were taken from surveillance cameras and show she was visibly uninjured.
The company does still have time to evaluate the situation as the investigation continues, and evidence is eventually presented, as the next Avengers films isn't supposed to be released until Phase 6, and Marvel is just starting Phase 5.
Once we have gotten through Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6, that will complete the second saga of the MCU, which is, of course, the multiverse saga.
Seeing as how big the Marvel franchise is, it seems very unlikely that they will scrap projects. With everything going on, however, fans have been wondering if they were to recast Jonathan Majors, even if it isn't the person they would want. But it looks like Marvel is actually reportedly began preparations to recast him depending on the situation. This means depending on if he does end up in jail or what fans think of the situation as a whole, as I don't believe Marvel would keep Majors if their audience was completely against it, as it could be bad for their reputation.
Hours later, Majors says he found her unconscious in his locked bedroom with minor injuries. NBC News is not naming the accuser or showing her face. This week, Variety exclusively reporting that more women are accusing Majors of abuse and that they are cooperating with the Manhattan DA's office. In response to the Variety article, Majors' attorney maintains his innocence and says he will be fully exonerated.
As shared via Cosmic Circus, they report that Jonathan Majors will continue to appear in the second season of Loki. The actor already shot his scenes for the series, in which he will once again play several variants of King the Conqueror. However, depending on his current legal situation, they may recast the actor as the character's following MCU appearances.
So we already know that Majors has been dropped from a number of projects. I think that's when we first heard the story, Vlad, we were like, oh, okay, well, we'll see how things unfold. And then, you know, he was dropped from one project and another project and another project. And it made me wonder, you know, no matter how things unfold in the criminal justice system, the damage may be done to his career.
This doesn't officially come from Marvel or Disney themselves, so some can take it with a grain of salt. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars isn't until 2025 and 2026, so they have plenty of time before even shooting.
Deadline reports he's been dropped by his management and PR teams in multiple projects. NBC News has not been able to independently verify the Variety or the Deadline reporting. Meanwhile, Disney hasn't commented on Majors' future as King the Conqueror in the 2025 Marvel Avengers film.
In the latest news, Majors was arraigned in court on Tuesday, and evidence was brought forth and prosecutors rewrote from the perspective of the 30-year-old accuser. Now we shift to Marvel's standpoint and his character. I do think that it will be an adjustment seeing a different person playing the same character for the audience, but no major plot points would change, as it could change the entire course of the MCU and what they have already planned.
Kelly, Majors' career was on the rise big time. Now he's allegedly been dropped by his management and PR teams. Professionally, how much does he have riding on the outcome of this case, or is there no coming back from this at this point?
I mean, I think he has everything riding on the outcome of this case. Hollywood has really kind of adapted a wait and see with regards to Major's career, but understand that before all of this happened, he was just on the cusp of major superstardom.
And as far as the answer to our trivia question, interestingly enough, after getting into a fight at school in Dallas, Texas at age 14, Majors was enrolled in an alternative education program, and it is there that he first discovered his love of performing.
But you thought you could win.
We were reading Agatha Christie and I just got into it, he recalled. I grew up reading the Bible all the time and I would compare the King James version and other versions and be like, oh, I like this version better. I just loved reading and I have an active imagination and liked acting out the scene.
Remember, these two individuals are telling two different stories. Jonathan Majors, according to his attorney, was the one who actually called 911 to report that something had gone on between him and his girlfriend in their penthouse apartment in Chelsea here in Manhattan.
He stands by his words of being innocent, by his representatives continuously saying, quote, he has done nothing wrong. And since his day in court on May 9th, he has another day scheduled for June 13th that determines his fate, but until then, his name still sits on the Marvel cast list.
Franchise, a potential Oscar film coming later this year. So everyone's kind of waiting to see what happens with this case to really determine what happens with the rest of his career.
So what do you guys think about all this? What do you think Marvel will do, and do you think they should replace him for the next projects King is supposed to appear in? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on for more videos just like this. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye guys.